Once America entered the war, Hollywood was completely up for wartime themes for both patriotic and commercial reasons. So many movies in this period dealt with battles, traitors, spies, and dramatic homefront stories. I recommend the two movies on the following two slides for your cinematic delectation: Hitchcock's Saboteur and The House on 92nd Street. But the most famous World War II movie of all time is featured on slides 4 and 5. See you there. While it was not seen as an especially significant movie when it was released, it was just another World War II type movie. Casablanca did win multiple important Academy Awards. In the 1970s, there was a Humphrey Bogart revival, and this movie was rediscovered. Film historians began churning out theories as to the symbolism. Bogart's character, cafe owner Rick Blaine, was like America: isolationist, independent, not interested in getting involved. Then, in the hour of maximum danger, Bogart and America rose to the threat and triumphed. There is so much obvious symbolism in the plot and characters. In the movie are nationalities involved in the war: American, German, Russian, French, Hungarian, Czech, Norwegian. The stereotyping is obvious, but the movie is utterly enjoyable for the drama, comedy, and popular music of the era. But these movies were not the first to address the subject of the Nazi threat. Of all people, The Three Stooges, You Nazi Spy was released in January 1940, almost 2 years before America entered the war. The plot of this satire is less important than the outright mockery of Hitler. To give you some idea, the name of the fake Hitler country is Moronica, that is, Moronica. I'll wait here while you check out the clips. The first major film to attack Hitler by satire was directed and starred in by the great silent film comedian Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin plays a barber whose identity is mistaken for the dictator Hinkle, and the dictator is later mistaken for the barber and is arrested. The original dictator was scheduled to give a victory speech about his tyranny. Instead, the barber gives a rousing defense of Western values of individual freedom. This is one of the most famous scenes in the movie. The dictator is playing with his inflatable globe, like a beach ball, to the music of Wagner's Lohengrin. Look at the symbols of design and behavior during the clip. What happens to the globe at the end? What does it mean? What does it symbolize? Paulette Goddard plays the barber's love interest, and the photo on the right shows the dictator reviewing his troops. Frank Capra was an American success story. An impoverished immigrant to the U.S. at the age of 4 or 5, his family settled in Los Angeles. He worked his way up from the bottom, slowly climbing the ladder of the movie industry. Eventually, he became a director and made some of the most iconic movies of the 1930s and 1940s. The Motion Picture Academy, the Oscar people, nominated him 6 times for Best Director, and he won the award 3 times. I recommend all of these films to you. In addition, if you have any interest in the movie business, I highly recommend his autobiography, The Name Above the Title. The poverty of his early life, the astonishing amount of hard work he put in over the years, and the eventual payoff are so inspiring. Based in large part on Capra's extraordinary talent, the U.S. government asked him to produce a series of movies explaining why the U.S. was at war, the nature of the enemy, and the ultimate goal of the war: to defeat tyranny and preserve a world of individual freedom. This 7-part series, Why We Fight, used a combination of news film, filmed footage captured from the enemy, and animation, largely from the Walt Disney Studios. When you watch it, can you see the characteristic design signatures of the Disney Studios? This series was made for the troops to instill morale and fighting spirit, but it was so well made that both President Roosevelt and Prime Minister Churchill requested that this series be shown to the general public. I will send you as much as I can of all 7 installments, but I ask you for now to just watch the 10-minute segments to get a flavor of it. Okay, I think we need a palate cleanser after that one. I just mentioned the Disney Studios' contributions to Why We Fight. The U.S. government asked Disney to produce all kinds of film product for the war, for training, educational, and informational purposes. In fact, Disney produced more footage in any one year of the war than the studio had ever made before in any one year. For example, before the war, Disney produced an average of 27,000 feet of animation per year. In 1942 alone, Disney produced 90,000 feet for just the Navy. Again, trying to reach everyone on some level, regardless of their education or literary abilities. Disney made many war-related cartoons. One of many is Donald Gets Drafted. Most of these cartoons are now banned from YouTube for copyright reasons, but I was able to locate this one. What is unusual about this cartoon is that the subtext is actually subversive. Notice how the cartoon mocks some of the Army's recruiting techniques and promises. Certainly this created a sense of winking, insider knowledge of, yeah, Army life stinks, but we're all in this war together. After looking at all this media, what conclusions can you draw from their message and how the message was delivered? Any similarities? Differences? How did the democratic Western countries, Britain and the United States, differ in their approach from the totalitarian states, the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, and how they propagated information and propaganda?